Welcome food fans, picky eaters, the flavor curious, and everyone in between. Nothing makes good food better than good conversation, and your table is ready. Welcome back to another episode of the Food For ThoughtCast with your hosts, Melissa Reagan and Steven Gonzalez, but you can call them Chef. All right, let's get this episode started.
Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for ThoughtCast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the most, Chef Steven Gonzalez. Today, we are honored to have Lenzy Ruffin here with us. Hi, Lenzy.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, how's everybody doing today?
Doing great. Beautiful fall transition. Not hot, not cold, perfect temperatures.
Yeah,
How's
we're getting
the weather over there. What's the temperature?
Yeah, what is it?
It's right now 80 degrees even.
Man,
It's not bad.
Yeah, we're looking at
back from Philadelphia, and it was weird because it was like in the 60s, and then it would get up into like the 80, 81, 82, and it just felt hot. And I live in the desert now, so I was kind of taken back because I'm so used to like 90, 100, and even then I'm still sweating at 80 degrees, So
we've got 82 here today, but it has been like gorgeous. I really couldn't ask for better. I think I turned every system off in the house probably like 3 weeks ago, and I'm just like rolling with it. I'm really excited about it. So. All right. Well, Lenzy, we are so honored to have you as a guest today. You may know at the beginning of every episode, we ask what was the most amazing thing you ate. So Steve, why don't you kick us off? What was the most amazing thing you ate this week?
Well, my wife's birthday was last week, so we went all out, made her some Japanese A5 New York strip, and we did that with some smashed baby potatoes, a little bit of some onions, mushrooms, things like that, and had a nice Cabernet to go with that. So that I'd say that was the most amazing thing. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Let's go. It sounds incredible. Like I want to have a birthday around you. Well, let's see. The most amazing thing I ate this week would probably have to be I made chili Frito pie. Like 'tis the season. It got down in the 50s and I decided I wanted it again. Really, really good. Like certified Angus ground. I went ahead and put some beans in it, even though it's not real chili if you put beans in it. But yeah, like some Fritos, really nice, sharp Colby Jack cheese and sour cream. It was really, really good. Green bell pepper went all out, right? Like super hot chili mixture, green bells, onions. What about you, Lenzy? What was the most amazing thing you ate?
I'm looking at it, trying to figure it out. There's I'm looking at some photos from Sunday that let's see if I can put these on screen so you guys can see them. The oh wow, you may be able to see that.
Man.
So I'm working with a local caterer, Sharon Reed, because of the government shutdown. What we're doing is we're doing an extension or a modification of the SNAP challenge, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program challenge, which is a $6 per person per day challenge. And so with the government shutting down, being in the DC area, I've experienced this before. Last time it shut down, it was a 35-day shutdown. And within a couple of weeks, the food banks were overrun with people who had never been customers before. So what Sharon and I decided to do is be proactive and try to teach folks how to stretch their grocery dollar. And so Sunday, we started recording videos she's going to do this challenge for 30 days. She went out and bought 30 days worth of groceries with the $6 budget. And she's going to teach how to make one person so 3 meals per day, total of $6 per day. And so that photo is some of those meals that we made that she made on Sunday.
So that's $6 per day for 30 days. So you've got 100 per person.
Yep. So one person, you figure $180.
So one single folk like myself, and then like we'll subtract dog food out of that. That would be considered a luxury item, right? So $180 for 30 days, 3 meals a day, and snacks. Like I think I'm gonna take up that challenge when we get done. Like I think it's so important to raise awareness about things like that. Like that's incredible. So that's gonna be a series or like a
we did the launch on we recorded the launch video on Sunday, which was showing the grocery store haul and just giving an overview of the challenge and what we're doing and inviting chefs like you all to participate.
Love that.
And then on Friday we're going with the next set of recipes that she's going to make, and then we'll just figure it out from there. But she's already got all the groceries. We just gotta actually record the recipes, and that's how we're going to go about it.
Okay, so for the sake of the challenge, am I allowed to use anything I already have in the house? Is it like oil, salt, pepper, or what is it?
No, you use whatever you have, and as far as groceries, just $180 or less.
As a chef, I'd be keeping a stocked pantry, so I might have a leg up on some. So that's part of the education piece, though, right? It's like being the resource. That
was the first episode that we'll record on Sunday was teaching folks how to stock a pantry. So that's one of the things that I'm encouraging chefs to do with your very first one. Is cooking has become such a lost art. You got to teach people how to stock a pantry, and that doesn't mean a pantry full of boxes of ultra processed food. Actual whole food ingredients as staples, and then how to turn that into whatever kind of food you want. And it is very important. So I would encourage you to just take us on a walkthrough of your pantry. Show us what's in your pantry, chef, so we can learn from that and start from there.
I won't lie, there is some processed stuff in there. I work so many hours a week that I will be like throwing down a little rice-a-roni every once in a while. So
you can't avoid it entirely, but we do have to just be more conscious and deliberate about those choices, because if you're not, you'll find that everything you have is a sodium bomb.
It's really about like intentionality, right? Lenzy, tell our listeners, I've done a horrible introduction. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure.
We got right in. We jumped deep real fast.
Yeah, we did.
I roll with it. Y'all are my people.
I love it.
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm a cooking show advisor. I took a very circuitous route to getting here. This is not what my background is. My background is IT. I got a couple of IT degrees. Spent a career doing IT. I used to be an Army officer. That was a long time ago. And I've just, the journey that life has taken me through, leaving behind my IT career, starting photography business, which turned into a video production business. And then with the pandemic, it turned into a really niche video production business and more about training, specifically training folks how to start a cooking show and build it into a business. And so that's what I do now. That's what I've continued to do, train people how to start a cooking show and build it into a business. That's really what my focus is using this cooking show as a tool for economic empowerment, for financial freedom, because the cooking show is just a beautiful, beautiful business that will feed a lot of people if you take it seriously. And so that's what I do. I teach folks how to start a cooking show and make money with it.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's incredible. I love it. Yeah, Steve's down. I can see his twinkling in his eyes right now.
Yeah, I'm already like, okay. And I've looked at your website. I've seen, like some of the questions that you have and things like that. And I filled out, that questionnaire, like about my own channel, things like that. So I'm excited to see some of the feedback I get, But
what do you want to know?
Huh?
What do you want to know? Ask it here.
Any and everything.
We're doing it.
but I actually came across your YouTube channel from a friend of mine, and him and I were always trying to kind of send each other links in like how to better our production, how to better our videos, things like that. He's got quite a few. I'm I put a little bit of time in here and there. Like once a week, I try to post. And when I saw your videos, I also I'm following you on social media, things like that. Like it's a lot of good information, and now it's taking a little more time putting all that into action, things like that. So I'm excited, to start seeing your posts and things like that as we go.
Yeah, most important thing is just show up once a week. That is the most important thing.
Yeah. Doing this podcast has been an exercise in discipline for sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I think teaching somebody how to, it's always kind of like a slippery slope, right? Like I have often thought about, when you monetize the things you love, do you run the risk of like really killing the passion? And so that's what I've been like super hesitant. Like people will go like, you need to make money with your podcast, right? And I'm like, I'm not here to make money with this. Like I have a career. It's completely separate, right? But one of the most fulfilling things about what we do is the people we get to meet, the connections we make, the things we get to learn. Like the experience is like thrilling, and it couldn't be more fulfilling. And I'm like, some of those things money can't buy, right? But the other thing is like you're really teaching people how to shape their future, which is like really amazing, right? Like I can't imagine something any more fulfilling than that. Like it's basically you're teaching a man how to fish, right? And then it's happening, right? So they've got revenue, and they're hopefully in that time it's experiential for them, right? They're learning something about themselves, they're developing their persona, maybe they're learning how to cook better, right? Like I feel like that's really some full circle moment for you every time you help somebody launch, right? Like it has to be an incredible feeling. So.
Yeah, I love what I do because, first of all, I know very well what you're talking about as far as turning a passion or a hobby into a job, and then
you hate it.
That's the best way to kill it. I did that when I burned out with my IT career and just couldn't do it anymore. The only other thing I knew how to do was photography because it was my hobby. So I started a headshot photography business, and then went down that path of earning money using my hobby, and I lost the hobby for quite a few years. I'm actually still trying to get back to the place where I was with photography before. It used to be just this incredible escape where hours would pass and I wouldn't realize it because I'm looking through the viewfinder and the world was just this little rectangle inside the viewfinder, and everything outside that did not exist. And that was a beautiful time and a beautiful experience to have something that allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
And I took it away from myself. So I know very well the perils of doing that. With a cooking show, it's those perils are really not there as I've seen it from so many chefs that I've talked to, because so many of them are working in such terrible conditions that this is actually way better. Like the work hours and a lot of folks are working in toxic work environments, hostile kitchen environments.
Yep.
And what we're talking about with a cooking show is just taking the parts that you love and leaving everything else. You cook once a week. You prepare one recipe per week. That can be you once you've gotten things established, that is your business. So you're cooking whatever you want, one dish per week, and that's it. That's the job. So it's really hard to lose your passion when the alternative is you were working 70, 80 hours a week, not making enough money, not being appreciated by the folks that you're working for. And then you turn the alternative path that you choose is, okay, I'm going to do this cooking show and learn how to make money doing this. I'm only cooking 1 or 2 dishes a week. I'm making more money, more free time to spend with my family. Like it's just such a better lifestyle for the people who take it seriously and pursue it and make it do what it's capable of doing.
There is really something to be said about like, so Steve and I both come up in the business, and this is all I've ever done. And I probably work in one of the most non-toxic kitchen environments that I ever have in the last 5 years, but it took me 15 years to find it. And there was a lot of like heartache, striving. And, you know, I believe that our cumulative experiences really make us who we are, right? Like I wouldn't trade any bad thing or any like really difficult, challenging circumstance for what I have now. But hindsight's always 2020, right? And I go like, I can't imagine just putting all the other things to the side, right? Like the budgets, the KPIs, the schedules, the ordering, the inventory, all the personnel stuff. I can't even imagine being able to just set that to the side and going like, I'm just going to cook in my kitchen. Like, this is my happy place. I'm going to share my craft with you, and figuring out how the two could mix and you have revenue, right? I'm just like, that's mind blowing to me. I luckily love what I do, but I certainly have not at times, at many times. So it's crazy.
Now you were talking about,
it's amazing.
You were talking about like, you know, about a 10-minute, I guess, episode. So I guess you call them episodes versus videos, right? What is the ideal time frame or time for a video or an episode? Like, what is it? 10 minutes? Do you think it's a little bit more? Is it less?
There is no, that's one of the number one questions. I'm glad you asked. There is no time limit. There's no time constraint. However long the recipe is or whatever it is you're trying to teach. So what you're doing is inviting people into your kitchen. So if you had a guest over and you were going to prepare a meal for them and talk, are you going to start out thinking about how long you're going to do this? Am I going to limit this conversation to 10 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes? That's not how it works. So with a cooking show on YouTube, not regular television, but YouTube, you have the opportunity to just invite a guest over, invite the viewer over, and then have that conversation, whatever conversation you want to have, and let it take as long as it takes. It doesn't have to be just about the recipe. Obviously, you're cooking and you're teaching that recipe, but if you got a story that you want to tell or whatever, whatever's organic to you, you have the ability to do that, and YouTube will go find the audience who likes what you do. So all you have to do is show up and be yourself, make whatever video you want to make, and however long it is, that's how long it is. Something that's important for us to share with the audience is YouTube is the #1 TV streaming platform in U.S. households, and it has been for a couple of years now. More people watch YouTube on their television than they do Netflix and any other streaming platform you can think of. So YouTube is a TV channel. If you have a cooking show on YouTube, you have a cooking show on TV, and more broadly speaking, you have your own food TV channel. So don't think in terms of social media and everybody's got all this short attention span. That's just nonsense. Nobody's turning on YouTube and sitting on their couch to watch 30-second videos. When they're watching, they tune in.
That's a really valid point, because there's a lot to be said about that. Like dopamine hit, especially my generation, the generations that are coming behind me, is like, we want everything quick and short form. But you're right. Like I will turn on YouTube, but I will find like a 45-minute video about the Titanic or like whatever it is, right? Like in that For You page is whatever's hitting my algorithm. But a lot of times if I'm watching somebody cooking, I'll watch 15 of those in a row. And before I know it, I've killed 2 hours.
Exactly.
You know? Like that's, I've never really thought about it like that, but there's nothing more inviting than, there's really nothing more like inviting than having a guest in your home and then spending 4 hours like conversating, have a glass of wine. Like, you turned a 30-minute prepping dinner into like a 4-hour social event. Yeah. I have a dear friend staying with me right now. I didn't make anything special for dinner last night. It was nothing earth-shattering, but we had the best time doing it, and we talked the entire time. And I never once looked at the clock. By the time we looked at it, we were like, we door-dashed a chocolate stout. We door-dashed a non-dairy ice cream and made floats. We had bought all sorts of like novelty stuff at the farmer's market. We made huge platters of like vegetables and everything else over hours. And time disappeared. Before I knew it, I was like, it is 1 a.m. Like, this is what's happening right now.
If you had recorded that, there's an audience who would have watched every minute of it.
100%. Yeah. That's like the Ina Garden, the slow entertaining crowd, I think. Yeah. I love that.
Answer your question, Stephen. Don't worry about time, man. Just don't.
Yeah. So I used to worry about that all the time. Like, a few years ago, I used to go on the news every Friday and, or I would send like a 4-minute video because they said that's perfect for us. And for some reason that number
it's like a segment.
Yeah. And so I just always stuck with that. And probably back in, I want to say like June, I shot a video with a friend of mine, or the same friend that recommended your page and all that. And we just shot for like 30, 45 minutes. We're just making a couple of steaks. And by the time I was able to edit everything down, it came out to probably like 13 to 15 minutes, which for me was really long. But he said, like, this is what you need to do. You need to go a little bit longer so that way people can see what you're doing. Like, they want to see the step-by-step. They want to see the why. And I've noticed a big difference in views and things like that. And it just kind of made more sense to me. Like, people want that content. Whereas before it was just cookie made simple. Let's do this fast and get it, So I've definitely changed my approach, over the last few months in particular.
You can't build a connection when it's too short. I don't think. Maybe.
And
I don't know.
Also, you're leaving behind the people who don't have 10 or 20 years of experience as a chef.
Yeah.
You got to remember, everybody doesn't come from a household where they grew up learning how to cook from somebody in their family. And absolutely not everybody, most people have not gone through any kind of professional culinary training. So all of those steps that you're leaving out to make the video short, the person doesn't know these things. So you're not helping them with a video that's leaving out all of these steps. You got to, remember, the audience for this is not you. It's the person who needs to learn how to make this dish. And you don't help them by leaving out steps.
Right. No,
so
right. There's a couple of videos that I've noticed that I've made where like I try to do like a step-by-step and I show people like how to cut, how to dice, how to, just get your pot hot or whatever the case is. And there's some videos where I've had a lot of success doing that. And then there's a lot of videos where I'll get a handful of views here and there. And so, it's like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's see what we're doing wrong. And whereas when I was doing them years ago, over the last few years, I just thought, I'm doing something wrong, but what is it? So now I'm like taking the time to actually analyze what I'm doing, and analyzing the video. So,
well, when you say right and wrong, I would ask, what are your objectives? Like because if it's viewership, you can't necessarily control that. I would say my perspective is the video is successful if you put out what you wanted to put out. Like my YouTube channel, for example, we're here having this conversation because of my YouTube channel, but in terms of viewership in the spectrum of what a successful or a big YouTube channel is, I'm not anywhere close to being on the map. I'm in the bottom, lowest, not even. So, but I don't worry about that. I just share what I want to share for the specific audience that I'm trying to reach. If I'm happy with what I put into that video and I showed up every week with the video or whatever the time schedule that I challenge myself with, that is the success. That's success that I control. I define it. I control it. Other stuff, like how many people like it or how many people watch it, all that's, you can lose yourself if you're setting your standards
on the nose. Yes,
incorrectly.
I agree.
Yeah, I looked at the metrics so I started this podcast and Steve joined soon after, I think in the 30s or 40s somewhere, and couldn't find him fast enough. Like, we reconnected and got back together, and he was a guest, and then he became a recurring guest and was like, you just want to do this, want to make it official, and just be the co-host, like, let's just do it. I looked at the metrics for a long time and I thought exactly what you said, right? I was like, well, like, nobody's really watching at this time, and like, we don't get a lot of like clicks at this level and all this. And I was like, Steve and I like to talk about food. We're welcoming people into that conversation. We like to learn things from other chefs. We even have people who are not officially chefs on our show, or we have people like yourselves that are connected to food in a different way, like whether it's through social media or whatever it is. All of the guests equally intriguing, super exciting. And what we're doing is like, we're having a great conversation. And as long as we're doing that, my job's done, right? We're good. It doesn't matter what it looks like on the other side. Lenzy, how food? Like, what is your cooking background? Did you grow up cooking? Were you always a foodie? Like, what is it? Like, how did you get into it?
This is funny. No, I'm not. I'm not even a home cook. I
Not at
can't
all.
even.
Really?
That, no, like
You just appreciate it as an art.
survive. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
survive, but as far as cooking and stuff that other people would enjoy, nah, I never developed that skill. Always had lots of great cooks in my family, and so I never learned. They tried to teach me, and then you look pitiful enough, long enough, somebody's gonna feed you. and then and then I somehow, through the Forrest Gump journey through life, ended up now working with professional chefs. So I definitely don't have to.
You could never far from a meal ever.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great setup.
Ever. Like I had to buy I bought glassware with the kind you can freeze, because I'll do a recording day with somebody and end up with a week, sometimes 2 weeks worth of food.
Dang. That's not a terrible deal though. Like you have positioned yourself for success. You're like, need some food. So no cooking at all. Like what was your preferred bachelor meal? Is it PBJ? What is it? Like when you were growing up, like what would you go to? Maybe college years? Like what was the one thing you figured out?
Back in the day, I used to get like the extra large pizza, not the large, but this big huge bag. And and be eating it on the way home. Like so I used to love pizza. Oh, so here's the funny, y'all are like this one. I tried to make, this is way back in the day when I was at least making an effort to try to get better in the kitchen, and General Tso's chicken was one of my favorites. And I tried to make it at home, and I bought this. I got the recipe offline. This was the early days. This was like 90,
when you were like still printing a recipe, like
98
on paper,
like that. This is very early in the internet. So
in the 1900s.
And so it called for, it gives you the ingredients, and so I go to the store and I can't find everything that I'm supposed to find. It's in there. I just don't know where exactly it is because I don't cook. So I started, in my infinite wisdom, making substitutions. And one of the substitutions was the recipe called for these peppers, and I couldn't find the particular pepper, so I got pepper flakes.
Ooh.
So I make the dish. I start making the dish, and you cook the chicken, and then you heat the oil up, or whatever it was you make first. You heat the oil up, you put the peppers in, and then you add the chicken or something. Well, I can't remember the steps, but when it got to the step where you heat the oil and then you add the peppers in, so I add the pepper flakes, and then immediately have this horrible reaction. I'm choking. I can't breathe. My nose is running. My eyes.
You made like
running.
a smoke bomb in your house.
Yeah.
I made pepper gas, and I knew it because of my military experience, having been tear gas as part of the training. I was like, oh my God, I feel like this feels like tear gas. And it's funny how your brain works, because I don't know what's happening, but like in my brain is processing it in slow motion. You're choking, your nose is running, you can't breathe. This is tear gas. Hey, dummy, you threw those pepper flakes in oil, it vaporized, and you've made pepper gas. Go open the window. That's what happened. It was like somebody was watching me saying, okay, this is what you just did. Here's how you solve it. And so this was like, it had to be 15 degrees that day. And I had to open up all the windows and the patio door to evacuate the air in my apartment, trying to make General Tso's chicken.
That's insane.
I've done that too.
Do you have like traumatic experience every time you eat General Tso's now? Like you almost have like PTSD?
I haven't really eaten it much because it's such a sodium bomb.
Yeah.
And I'm more conscious about these things. But that's an indication of the level. When I said I'm not even really a home cook, this is what I'm doing. I'm making pepper gas.
I'll never forget. Go ahead, Steve.
I saw your post earlier, and I like that you're also kind of coaching, like nutrition and whatnot too, because it was a light, salad dressing. You were talking about how much sodium's in that, and what really hit the nail on the head for me was you mentioned even though it claims to be lower calories, lower this, healthier, it's still a sodium bomb. It blows my mind how even myself, I'm guilty of not reading the nutritional label in the back, things like that. And you're pointing out something that a lot of us overlook, but if we take like that little bit of time, we could be healthier. We could understand what we're eating, things like that. I love that post.
Yeah.
That's a campaign that I'm on, man, because we're in a public health crisis because of what we eat. So much chronic illness is because of what we eat, and it's getting worse, and we have to be more deliberate and knowledgeable about what we're eating, and those labels are important.
I'm a really big fan of the healthy is relative approach. Like what's maybe healthy for me doesn't look the same as what's healthy for Lenzy, just because like I don't know your blood work. I have a chronic illness, like you know what I mean. But I really love like the most important part about that is like the awareness, right? Like I know that my kidneys function fine, my liver functions fine, and I'm super duper hydrated. I can take a little extra salt, but I can feel the differences, right? Like if I'm like very intentionally going to eat some Chinese food, I can tell how I feel the next day. Like I'm very in tune with like, I'm a little puffy, I'm peeing a little bit more, like my body's working really hard to like wash all this sodium out. And it's the sustained like eating that way every day is where you really start to build up like that damage, right?
And that's what we do.
Yeah, understanding that some foods are a sometimes food, sometimes a food is a treat, but it's not an everyday, like,
we're eating 2 or 3 or 4 times the recommended limit of sodium and sugar every day. Yeah, like I'm like you pointed out the post about the salad dressing. I did another one a couple of days ago about Lunchables, and went through the Lunchables aisle, and one of them 930 milligrams of sodium in that one Lunchable. The recommended daily limit for sodium for children is 1,200 milligrams in a day, and that one Lunchables, that's 930 milligrams. That's 78% in one day. So what else is that child consuming throughout the day? They're going to be way over their limit. And what are we doing? We're putting that child on course for cardiovascular disease for their entire life. Like you just can't consume multiples of the recommended limit of sodium every day, and there'd be no consequence.
I was a huge fan of a Lunchable as a kid. I loved them. They've also changed quite a bit. They used to have like more real, lunch meat is not like super great for you. It's almost a carcinogen. Like you can get them real natural with less nitrates and all those things, right? Like there's always levels of options of good and bad types of things, right? No matter what it is. But Lunchables used to be a little bit more natural. I might be misremembering this, but I don't think I'm being sentimental. Right now, if I went and ate a Lunchable, I would be so sick. And it's also because like the bologna is just grease. And it used to be different. I swear that it used to be, they had like turkey and ham options. Even the crackers seemed like they were more whole grain. I'm not a health nut by any means, but I'm like very laser focused on, I essentially told myself I would get to 40 healthier than I was at 30, and I'm making it happen. And so then I got diagnosed with, if you'll just indulge me, you're being so kind. I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes like 16 months ago, and I have lost like 100 pounds and like turn the things around, right? And through like medication help and everything else. But now I'm like keenly aware things taste too sweet, things taste too salty. I'm very sensitive to flavors and smells. It's like your palate changes, your hormones change, your everything. Dude, if I ate a Lunchable, I'd have to go to sleep. It would make me feel so terrible.
You probably couldn't eat it.
I wouldn't even be able to make it through it because it was like so much salt, it would make your tongue tingle. It would like rip up the roof of your mouth.
Yeah. But you also have to remember, like a lot of companies nowadays, like their marketing, they've got like these buzzwords that just kind of like appeal to people. So for example, like protein bars, they're supposed to be really healthy for you. Oh, it's got 30 grams of protein, and that's cool. But then when you look at the ingredients, a lot of it's just chemicals, like it's things you can't pronounce. And I mean, I'm guilty. I'll have a protein bar from time to time, even like one of the healthier energy drinks, like that are zero sugar. And even then I know like I'm just drinking chemicals, and I shouldn't be, and I should just be drinking coffee, which, I could drink in the morning. I've cut back quite a bit, but yeah, it's just the marketing nowadays is just so out there just to grab your attention that, a lot of people just, they buy it and they eat it, they consume it, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah, everybody's busy.
Y'all gonna pry my Diet Coke out of my cold dead hands. Sorry.
It's called moderation. It's fine.
It's my one vice. Yes, the dose is the poison. It's like 1 or 2 a day, not 40.
Yep.
So I gave up all the other good things. Like, that's my one thing. So even those have sodium in them, though, like 200 milligrams of sodium in like every diet's like that. So,
wow.
So
interesting. It's something to give it flavor because it doesn't have sugar in it.
Right.
So, but yeah.
So let's go back to like I guess
we digressed really hard. Sorry. Go ahead, Steve.
Yes, it's fine. But like so when you're coaching people. So again, I went to your website and I saw like fill out the questionnaire on how you can best help people. Whenever you're giving that feedback, is it like an email? Is it like in a Zoom call, or like how does that work for you?
So I have an online training platform where so when I'm coaching people, those are people who've signed up and paid for coaching. So that's a whole different. So there's the community service content, which is my YouTube channel, my email list, where I'm just providing all this information, and you can go quite a ways with just what I give away at no cost. The videos that I watch where I'm telling you exactly what to do, and then folks who want more results, or they're trying to they want more help specific to them, or they're trying to get somewhere faster, or they really understand the opportunity of having a YouTube cooking channel, a food channel on TV, their own. People who are ready to really make some money with this, those are the folks who sign up for coaching. And I work with them in a private training portal that I have where we're having direct interaction. I'm giving them assignments. We start wherever they are. Some people already have a cooking show and they just haven't figured out how to monetize.
So it's more like a consultant basis then, if somebody's like kind of already got a thing going. Or like, does your approach change a little?
Some people already have a cooking show and they're just not making any money with it. Other people are afraid to stand in front of the camera and they need help with that. They're so worried about looking bad that they can't even get started. And so
sometimes it's harder to a camera than it is to a room full of people because you can't read any energy.
Yeah,
it's rough.
It's way harder.
Yeah.
It's way harder. And I'm able to help them.
I went through that myself.
What'd you say, Steve?
I'd rather just talk in front of a camera than a bunch of people, I know my audience, but at the same time, it's like, once I crack a joke or two, then everything's good. But getting to that initial comfort level is.
Lenzy, what was the learning curve? You say that you haven't been a food guy. Like, did you have to learn what things were called? Did you have to kind of like understand? Well, not like, I know you understand like a saucepan.
About the learning curve of being able to stand in front of the camera. If you're
sure. But like,
when I started with my photography business, I was always on my side of the camera. I never was on the other side of the camera.
You became the subject.
As a business owner, having to learn marketing, like it's not just enough to make pretty pictures, the same as it's just not enough to make great food. You got to be able to market this stuff so people are aware of it. That's when I learned, okay, I got to get on the other side of the camera and speak about my services and why you should hire me. So I had to get comfortable standing in front of a camera and speaking and learning these skills. And so I had to go on that journey. And that's why I'm so able to help people with that, because I had to do it myself. That was the what I was referencing. My learning curve.
And you've seen it from both directions, right? So you've got that perspective.
Yep.
So there was that learning curve of like becoming the subject essentially in front of the camera. or like understanding that from that different perspective. But was there any learning curve to helping with the food side? Like, have you learned new terms? Have you gotten familiar with different cuisines? Like, how does that play out?
I have learned way more about the business and the lifestyle of a chef than any actual cooking skills. Now, I have learned some terms like mise en place, mirepoix.
Oh yeah.
Maybe another couple of things like that I can't come to me right now. But those are words, terms that I didn't know, concept things that I didn't know anything about. And so I've gotten this much education on that. Where I've gotten the real education is on the life of a chef, what it's like to work in the hospitality industry, how demanding this industry is, the toll that it takes on people. I can't even tell you how many chefs I've talked to who have lost marriages. They have children that they don't have a relationship with because they were never at home. They were always at work. People. So all of that stuff, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know that
it's dark.
The Mental Health Association, I can't remember, that might be the name of it. One of these mental health associations did a survey a couple of years ago, and the hospitality industry was the number one out of 19 industries surveyed for alcohol abuse and number 3 for illicit drug use. There's a lot of people in pain. And numbing that pain with drugs and alcohol. I didn't know any of this, so I just didn't. And then just being around these folks, communicating with them, finding out more about what this lifestyle is. That's where my real education has come about the food world. Not so much about food. I can't cook any better now than I could when I started this, but I absolutely understand the plight of a chef way better than I did before.
It makes so much sense too, because we're expected to perform at high function, extremely fast, really consistently over long periods of time. And it's like an actor hitting their mark every single take. And it is like, it's that adrenaline dopamine combo hit. And then there comes like a certain amount of celebrity with that. And it's high stakes, man. Like it is mentally taxing. So it's crazy. You got the full restaurant, you got the full Kitchen Confidential side.
Basically, wasn't looking for it, but that's what I found.
We had Philip Foss on from L Ideas in Chicago, and he and his brother had partnered on a graphic novel, and it goes through a mental health journey, kind of in a dark way of like what chefs go through in the kitchen. It's really, really a neat thing to read, but it was really an outpouring of his like mental health journey, because kitchens are wild. They're crazy. So crazy.
You're right. There's always a lot of pressure going on, and it's just about how everyone copes with all that pressure. So there's a lot of different personalities and a lot of different ways to cope with that pressure. So you did get like the crash course. You hit the ground running with a lot of that for your clients.
Yeah. And that just reinforced. So when I started with the cooking show, it was really the first time I did it. This was pre-pandemic, and I just happened to be watching a cooking show on PBS one Saturday and just decided, I bet I can produce a show as good or better, a cooking show as good or better than what I'm watching. And so I had to reach out to find a local chef because I didn't know any at that time.
Wow.
And reaching out to see if, and I found a local chef, and she agreed to the idea. We started a cooking show in her apartment, and it was just a pet project of mine at that point, just doing it because I enjoyed it, and refining it, trying to make each episode a little bit better. I wasn't thinking about using this as something that I would sell to people or something that the chef could make money with. It was just, I just wanted to see if I could do it. And then fast forward, the pandemic happens and all these restaurants are closing. Every day this is on the news. All of these restaurants are closing permanently. And I'm just thinking, man, these folks, it's not cheap to start a restaurant. These folks, a lot of them cashed out their life savings to get, the investment money to start up, and they poured everything into this, and now it's gone just like that through no fault of their own. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what can I do to be a part of that solving that problem. How can I, because we all had nothing but time on our hands sitting in the house trying to not to die. And what
it was a
came to
crazy
me was,
time, wasn't it?
yeah. Remember what it was like back then, and what
Yeah,
came to
remember
me
when we were
was,
all just learning how to make sourdough and like watching Tiger King?
yeah. So I was like, you know what? You do have this oddly specific skill of how to produce a cooking show. How can you use that to help these food business folks? And so I saw a local caterer who was on social media just fighting to save her business. I could see it in things that she was doing. She started a first responder meal campaign where she would collect donations from the public, use that to buy the food and be able to pay her staff and prepare meals to deliver to hospitals, fire stations, police stations. And this is back when those folks were working 2-3 days straight, faces all scarred up from the masks. So they're not, that this is when she was doing these deliveries and at that period of the pandemic and posting as she could on social media. And I said, I think I can help this lady. We can do a cooking show, and that's going to be more effective at helping her accomplish what she's trying to do here, and she can monetize it. And so that's how that went. And that was the relationship that started with. So the chef who I just did the recipes with on Sunday for the snack, this is the same caterer, the same person.
Wow.
So we continue to work together because it just works out great. And this cooking show is helping her do the things that she wants to do. And it's a vehicle for so many other chefs. And that's something that I really want to convey here is that there's more than one way to be a chef. You don't have to just work in a restaurant kitchen for too many hours. There's other ways that you can do this. And a cooking show on YouTube is one of those options. You can earn your living doing it this way if you choose to, or supplement your income or whatever. But
there are a ton of ways to have that relationship with food. Like I know people put it in a box so often, but yeah, there are a ton of ways to be passionate about food, whatever you want to call yourself, a gourmand, a foodie, whatever it is, right? Like we call them food fans on this podcast. But whatever it is, like you don't have to categorize it too hard. Right? Like these people can be really successful at it. And I really applaud you for looking at somebody's situation and going, I can make that better instead of like, how can I help me? Which is, probably the most neighborly thing ever. It's amazing.
I'm going to piggyback, or I'm going to ask a question off of that. So whenever you have clients who have the social media, they have their own YouTube channel, things like that, and they ask you for, you're coaching them, because it's not a one size fits all type of approach. So do you look at like what they're doing and give them feedback and help them? Or do you kind of just start from the beginning of like, this is where I would start? Like, how does that work for you? What's been the most success for you?
It starts with objectives. So I ask you, what are you trying to accomplish? Where do you want to go? Because a cooking show is a vehicle that will take you wherever you want to go. Mm-hmm. Tell me where you want to go. And then we figure out how you want to get there. So it really depends on, everything starts with the person's objectives. Because I don't have any kind of one size fits all. I mean, as far as like the cooking show training part, like if you don't know how to start and how to do a cooking show, that is pretty formulaic. Mm-hmm. But in terms of what can you do with the show, how do you want this, what impact do you want this show to have on your life? Because again, usually it's a vehicle. You're not doing a cooking show for the sake of the cooking show. There's somewhere you're trying to go. You're trying to get to something and you want to use this to get you there. Well, what is there? Tell me what that is. Right. And then we can figure out, you can work backwards from there. So that's my approach to it.
Yeah, maybe it's like a sauce business. Maybe it's a catering thing. Maybe it's weddings. Like, I don't know. That just seems like you're kind of blowing my mind. I just wouldn't have thought that the actual YouTube presence could be the vehicle for something else, because today, the way that everything's works, like social media and TikTok, the YouTube presence seems like it's the goal, right? I'm like, I don't think about that being like the journey part, So
it's a vehicle.
It's neat. I love that. I love that.
I'm sure there's a few people on YouTube who make videos just for the love of making them, but typically we're doing this to get to something.
Yeah.
I love that. Originally from DC, Lenzy, or elsewhere?
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Gotcha.
I love that.
There's a lot.
I've been there a couple of times. Really beautiful. I mean, apart from the importance of everything that's there and all that, like there's a bunch of goings on, obviously, and history and buildings and everything else, right? But like, it's just a really neat place to visit and has a really, really strong food culture as well. Like there's a lot of things going on in food there.
Yeah. Wasn't always like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wild how you don't appreciate things until you grow up too close. Like the elementary school that I went to and my high school, both a few blocks away from each other on the same street. But I see the Capitol every day, going to school, coming home from school. And it's not until you go away that you realize that people come from around the world to see these things.
That.
Yeah.
These are just buildings that were there when I got here. So they were just always there.
Right.
You got to go away to get that perspective. And like, man, wow, people are coming from all over to see this stuff. And these are just buildings that I'm riding past on the bus every day, going to school and back.
Yeah. There's a lot of really great value in becoming a tourist in your own hometown. I grew up in Dallas, and I'm kind of a Kennedy file. Like I love learning about Camelot, that time in politics. The assassination took place 15 minutes from my house. And it was something I'd never been to the school book depository until I was well into my 30s. I had never been to the museum, but I drove past it all the time. And it was like, whoa, this was a national thing on national like people come from miles around to pay their respects and everything else. And like, this was a huge historical event that I just take for granted because it's like on the side of the freeway. So yeah, totally get that.
I had a friend that wanted to come to town when President Obama got elected for the inauguration. And it was bitterly cold that winter. I think the temperatures the forecast was like 12, 15 degrees, something like that. And she thought, she's from Florida, so she thought it would be okay because it was going to be at the mall. And I said, no, this is the National Mall. It's not a shopping mall. It's the National Mall. You're outside, no trees.
It's not a building. It's out.
You don't own the clothes that are necessary for you.
So did she visit anyway and like become a popsicle, or what happened?
No, it was there was a lot of people, because I went to school in Florida. There were a lot of people that wanted to come up, but just did not understand what an inauguration means, what that feels like what physically what that means. They were not. If Florida people are not equipped for a DC winter, when we get a real DC winter, we don't get so many of those anymore. But yeah, if you're not used to 10, 20 degree temperatures, because that just doesn't happen where you live, you don't want to experience that.
But that's especially the difference between like a dry cold and a wet cold, like wherever you are. I have lived in North Carolina for about 15 months now. I grew up in Texas. Didn't experience a ton of snow in Texas, but boy, the week that we did, it was historic. Back in 2021, every county in Texas had snow on the ground for the first time in 100 years. It was like a historic event. People died, lost power, didn't have water, pipes burst, like cities shut down. It was crazy. But then I moved here, and last year they had like 3 snowstorms, but it was so humid that it didn't feel as cold. It actually stuck to the ground. It wasn't black ice, and it was like kind of pleasant, but they also weren't equipped for it here. I was like, this is fun. This is real snow, but everybody's like losing their minds. So, it happens.
It snowed one time when I was in Florida. It was the flakes were so faint. I had a buddy from Miami insisted we take pictures of them, and the snow was so faint that you couldn't even see it on camera. It was, but it snowed in Florida. Technically, it snowed.
It was just wisps in the air. It did technically snow.
Not even.
Lenzy, what's on the docket coming up? Like, what is next for your business? You're just going to keep growing it? Do you have any really, really exciting projects? I know that we're doing the Snap Challenge. Like, what's happening?
Yeah, that kind of has taken over all my focus right now. Again, being in DC, the a federal government shutdown, that is the economy here. That's like if the motor industry shuts down in Detroit, or Hollywood shuts down in Los Angeles. So this is what I'm focusing on right now. But before that happened, what I was focusing on is what I like to call the Q5 opportunities for chefs. Q5 being the fourth quarter plus January. There's such a tremendous opportunity. This is revenue season for chefs if you understand what you're doing. You have the opportunity for holiday season catering. You have the opportunity for, when that's private catering, a regular individual consumer catering.
What about Super Bowl parties, man?
We're getting there. We're not there yet. Q4 is October, November, December.
Sure.
You got the corporate opportunities. So there's corporate events, corporate Thanksgiving. You have end of year, use it or lose it money from these. A lot of these companies have, so you can get paid to teach a corporate cooking class now that you might not be able to. They might not have been able to get approved at any other time of the year.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Sponsorships. Fourth quarter is when a lot of companies have saved up they spend most of their ad spend or half of it for the whole year for the end of the year, because this is when they make their money. Black Friday, all the way leading up into Christmas. And so these companies, like when you watch YouTube or other platforms and you see people doing these sponsored posts, they have established relationships with these companies. They're getting paid to make those posts. Well, as a chef with a cooking show, this is the season. This is your season. This is the food and fellowship season. Everybody's thinking about food. Everybody's talking about food. You can get your sponsorship opportunities are now more so than any other time of the year. You can sell digital cookbooks. There's just so much that you can do in the food education space as a chef in the fourth quarter. And then that leads into January, excuse me, where everybody's into new year, new you, health and wellness. So now you can sell your meal plans. People can pay you for meal planning consultations, meal prep for the chefs who are caterers and private chefs. People will be looking to engage you for meal prep services. Same way gyms sell more membership in January than any other time of the year. So that's what I call Q5. October, November, December, the fourth quarter, plus January for the 5. That's plus 1 is 1 more month is 4 plus 5. I call it Q5. And so I'm just trying to get chefs to see these opportunities and take advantage of it now, because this is your Christmas. Think about it like a kid. Christmas, you can get stuff that you're not getting any other time of the year. So if you miss it, then you're waiting until 2026, fall of 2026. So
I just haven't really ever thought about it from that angle. Like, I think your perspective is so it's just so useful. Like, it's so critical. I would never I used to cater quite a bit. I just never approached it like that. Maybe it's probably why I don't cater anymore. So I had to go back to working for somebody else. Yeah, that's invaluable. I love that. That is quite a vision to have.
Yes, a lot of opportunities out here.
I love it.
Especially right now, October, November, December, and January.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine who does catering, and he's already booked solid all the way through, I want to say, mid-January. So, yeah.
He's got it figured out. Then there's all these other caterers who don't have any gigs booked because they, it's like the people want to eat, man. You got to make yourself visible. Let them know you're available to feed them.
Yeah, 100%. Well, back on the Snap Challenge, I really didn't think about being in a city where all the enterprise can just shut down. I mean, I just don't have that point of view. Growing up in Dallas, there's no industry that's intertwined in the city quite like the examples that you listed. And so I think there's something so honorable and like really kind about the awareness that you're trying to bring for people's situations, and like also teach them how to take advantage of the resources that are available, right? Like we've talked to people who run food banks. We talk to people who, there's some great influencers out there who they'll do like grocery hauls from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, like teach people who maybe live in food deserts how to access the right things, how to like meal prep for an entire week on like $50, $60. And I think it almost runs the risk of becoming kind of like poverty tourism content if you really think about it, right? Like I think if we need to approach it from a place of privilege and go like, this is resources that people should understand how to take advantage of. And like, we can really teach people how to change their, situation or make the best of whatever, right? Other than we can look at it from another lens and go like, oh, I would never shop at Dollar Tree, right? I've never been on Snap, so it's not important to me. And I think you're bridging the gap there, right? Yeah. So, I can't tell you, like, I just, I applaud that. That is such cool work. That's really, really critical work, I think. That's really, really important.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
And something I want to point out, because you made an important point about how it can be received if you're not doing this correctly. Yeah. This is why I'm such a huge advocate of YouTube for chefs in particular, because you get to have a nuanced conversation. Yep. Instead of dropping some 30-second or 60-second thing that people can misinterpret, where you're sitting there having a conversation with them over 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, you're interviewing people who work at these facilities, these food banks and such. You have the opportunity to show the substance of what you're doing and why you're doing it, what's really behind it, in ways that you just don't get that opportunity on the other platforms, because they're designed for people who just want to get a quick 10 seconds of whatever. And then, so this is why YouTube is so important. And a cooking show in particular, you can feed a lot of people with a cooking show.
You can really like drive the narrative too. Like people can understand, like, this is what I'm trying to communicate. And like you said, it's so nuanced. It's not just that quick hit of like, I want to learn how to make a Crunchwrap Supreme. Well, like, I want to teach a single mother how to make a Crunchwrap Supreme with beans because it's cheaper than meat and you need fiber. Like, whatever it is, right? Like, I was using like a very silly example, but here we are. So, but yeah.
Not silly. That's a great example. But yeah, you get to, it's anything that you can envision as a chef, anything that you ever wanted to do, you can do it on YouTube. And one of the ways I try to drive it home to folks is I say, okay, well, if the local news said, hey, would you, we're going to give you a segment once a week, would you be willing to, would you be interested in that? If you would jump at that opportunity, then understand that YouTube is offering you 100 times that opportunity.
It's always there. And you, by your own rules, you get to do it.
It's not a 5-minute segment. It's as long as you want. You can talk about what you want. You can promote. You can put commercials for your products and services inside your cooking videos. If you, so like the caterer I work with, we make like that video is coming out tomorrow or the day after. And so she's doing the Snap Challenge, and then there was a break in the video where something had to go in the oven for 20 minutes or whatever.
Sure.
And we already had commercials made for her. So I put a commercial in there for promoting her corporate catering services. You can do good for others and do well for yourself at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. We're not doing nonprofit work. She runs a business. I run a business. I like to create win-win-wins. Win for me, win for the other party, and win for the viewer. And
important.
You can do this, and this is fun to do, and you can help other people and be profitable as well.
I love that. I there's so much to be said about the intentionality, being deliberate, like you've mentioned a couple of times, of making the money that's necessary, like having a business, and also helping somebody else's. Like, it's so important. It's so important at the end of the day, when you hit your pillow, you earned it. You just sleep like a baby because you treated people well and you took care of people and you paid a bill, right? You really can't beat that. Well, Lenzy, like, it has been a blast. You are a gem. I had such a great time talking to you, getting to know you today. I'm super inspired. I don't know that I'm going to start dropping a whole bunch of YouTube content, but I'm really inspired about, like, maybe some small ways I can start. But I'm going to take you up on that Snap challenge, and I'm going to tag you all in it. I just followed you on all the things, and thank you for your service. I didn't get to say it earlier.
Thank you very much.
But yeah.
Speaking of platforms, everyone who's watching on YouTube or listening, where can they find you?
Yeah.
On YouTube at Park Road Studio.
Social media, Facebook, Instagram, things like that, your website.
YouTube is where everything is delivered, and then some stuff, all the other platforms are leftovers. If YouTube is where, if you want to follow me and really see what I'm doing, YouTube is where you get it.
Excellent.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then after YouTube, go to my website, parkroadstudios.com.
Excellent.
Perfect. Well, I'm bookmarking the website. I have followed you on all the things. The podcast has followed you on the things. We look forward to having you on again sometime in the future. But tell me, what's for dinner tonight, Lenzy? What are you eating?
Something on that picture.
Yeah.
I don't remember which, because it's probably going to be
That's a tough one. It all looks amazing.
The chicken thighs, the potatoes, and the greens. That's probably, because I already ate the protein bowl. I ate the breakfast wraps. I ate the zucchini, and that's probably what's left.
Lenzy, you're like blowing my mind right now. I don't even know how to add a picture to this while we're broadcasting. I'm like, you're blowing my mind. I'm refreshed and inspired.
So this is another pandemic adaptation, learning how to run a business,
do the stuff
from home and do it. Yeah,
right.
This is I've just learned some tools. So I use Ecamm for this. If you're on the Mac, you can use Ecamm. And
I am. So I'll figure that out.
I love Ecamm.
I call this my podcast laptop. It is a Mac. That's all it gets used for is this podcast. So I have to get it down with it. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, Ecamm makes it so easy to produce a professional show, and or even as a guest to be able to show things easily, unlike when Zoom and all that other stuff, you can just very easily.
We're always like doing this, like I'm like holding up chips to the camera, like Steve, look at this, So, well, hey, Lenzy, it's been great. Steve,
hanging out with us.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
You guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, hang out for just a moment. We'll be in touch. But hang out for just a moment after we end the recording, and we'll wrap it up. But hey, for everybody out there, thanks for listening to the Food for ThoughtCast. You know where to find us on all the things. And for Lenzy and for Steve, I'm Melissa. We are out. Bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap for today. Until the next episode of the Food for ThoughtCast, make good food, eat good food, share it, and be kind to one another.
Thanks so much for listening today. You are part of what makes us special, and we are so glad you joined us. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave a review. Just like food, delicious podcasts are better when you share them with others. Come back for seconds wherever podcasts are served, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Food for ThoughtCast.
You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Food for ThoughtCast or at www.foodforthoughtcast.com, where you can link to all podcast players, or you can send us an email at foodforthoughtcmc@gmail.com.